I'm Haskins, and in this video we're going to be making this box. It has this plywood top right here. It's zigzagged and hinges. Now I'd like to say I was going to use like the kind of mortise hinges, but I only had one of them, so it didn't really do me any good. That's why the hinges are pretty big. And this is just some antique tongue and groove siding that on the sides are, and you can see the bottom here. I actually stuck it between the groove, so it's kind of almost rabbited in. Well, it is rabbited in, and then I painted that lip to give it kind of a floating effect. And I'm going to narrate the rest of the video, so I hope you enjoy it. So here I'm just going to rip this scrap piece of plywood into strips that are 3/4 of an inch wide, and my fence is just 3/4 of an inch from the blade to ensure that. And now once I get them, I'm cutting them into 8-inch pieces, and of course I have that piece against the fence so it doesn't bind up. Alright, now that they're all the same length, I can start gluing it, and how it's going to work is there's going to be the face piece of a piece of plywood and then the edge of a piece of plywood, and to glue these faster I'm just going to put glue on all of them at once and then start flipping them over. Now I'm putting my crosscut sled on and truing up one end of it for this next step because that'll need to reference off the fence. And now I'm cutting 3/4 of an inch cubes, or 3/4 of an inch strips again, and those can be then staggered in the next step. Alright, now this is where we stagger those pieces so that they line up, and it's pretty straightforward. As you can see in the picture, that's how they should line up if you're doing this yourself. And I'm going to glue this up into two sections and then glue those together. Alright, now that this is finished, I'm flattening it out with this belt sander, and you want to make sure you don't spend too long on one spot and make it super not flat. Mine didn't turn out perfectly flat, but the end product is alright. And now I'm just truing this up with the miter gauge. And since it was hard to get it on that, I'm going to have to hot glue it to this board and get a flat side, and then I can reference it off my fence and then put it on the crosscut sled. Alright, now I'm going to cut the sides of my boxes, and so just setting the blade to 45 degrees is one of those magnetic things. And this is some old tongue and groove siding. It's kind of a bluish gray color. It might be lead paint, but I just, it is what it is. And now I'm going to cut out the groove from the tongue and groove because this is tongue and groove siding, and then put the miters together. The miters turned out pretty tight. I think the angle wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close. As you can see in that picture, that's about what the angle turned out as. It's not bad. It's probably one of the worst ones. And I'm just going to use this ratchet strap to tighten it. Alright, so now my box turned out a little bit too big for the piece of plywood, so I had to glue on this piece of mahogany. And I think I like how it looks. Anyway, you can see how that piece of mahogany looks in the top there. Alright, now I'm going to tape it up because I want to spray paint the tongue for the tongue and groove on the bottom white, so it's kind of a floating effect. And then also the part where the box closes, as you can see in the picture. And I just taped it up so I wouldn't get it on the sides of the box. This is an almond color. I just call it white. And now I'm going to install the hinges. Now, like I said before, I wanted to use the mortise hinges, but I only had one of them, so I had to go with these. And these turned out pretty good. I like how they look. They're quite big, but they turned out great. And now I'm going to finish this with some Danish oil, as I finished most of my projects with, if you've watched my channel before. And it really just makes this plywood look really good. Now, it didn't do much for the painted part, but I didn't really need it